today we are going to get an understanding from an interview perspective that if anyone has been planning for an interview in an ISO 27001, what questions they may encounter. But before to that, we will try to brush up some things. Few things we need to brush up. Few things we need to understand from the auditor perspective. Okay, so what will be the agenda? So agenda will be, I have divided this agenda into an 5 modules. Module number 1 will starting with an basic. We will try to get a knowledge about an ISO 27001 implementation, where we'll be talking about the ISMS. Then we'll talking about a key requirement for the implementation. What are those are your clauses, those are your controls. So we will discuss about the clauses and control. Then we will talk about the preparation for the implementation. Now, what has been required for the preparation? So first, what we do a gap assessment. Now, what are the important part to be looked out while performing a gap assessment? So we will discuss that. Okay, once the gap assessment has been done, then define a scope, define the boundary where you want to do the implementation of an ISMS, to the whole organization, to a some part of an organization. So we need to define a scope over there. Okay, now once the scope has been defined, then the designing and documentation part will come into the picture. Okay, develop the strategy for writing a policy, establish the process and procedures. Okay, and then go with the documentation. Now once we are ready with that, start implementing the controls. For that we require what? We require strategies, we require team. Along with that, we need to train the people as well regarding that, you can say, process, regarding that control. Okay, perform the risk assessment and manage it on a continuous basis, because if you do a risk assessment, you will try to find out, you will try to figure out what things have been missing, which control we need to put up. Okay, and with that we are going to monitor it on a regular basis. If you put up any control, if you introduce new policy, that policy or that control need to be monitored on a ongoing basis, on a regular basis, because we have to maintain the ISMS by end of the day. Okay, and the last part is the certification, because every organization will go for the certification. Once they are investing that much of an time, that much of an money, that they will be wanting a certification as well. Now what is the process of the certification? Okay, before to the certification, what they have to do, do's and don't, internal audit. So we will be discussing that part as well, and last will be your discussion, question answers. Okay, so this will be our agenda for the day. So let's get started with this. Now first thing, the very first thing, let's have a basic understanding of an ISMS. Now, what first thing comes into your mind whenever ISMS hits in front of a screen? The full form. Okay, the full form of an ISMS is Information Security Management System. Now, if I'm coming from a non-technical background, if I'm coming from a non-security background, can I go directly into the ISO 27001, or can I go directly? Can I do an audit directly for any organization? No, you should have the basic understanding first, because ISMS itself has been saying information security. If you don't know about the basic things about an information security, then how you are going to help that organization to protect, to manage? Okay, so you should be having the basic knowledge about the security. Okay, now what is an ISMS? ISMS is an structured framework. Structured means it has been saying it's an step-by-step approach. Okay, so ISMS is an structured, or you can say it's an systematic approach. So ISMS is an systematic approach. So what we are managing, so it has been designed to manage and protect the organization sensitive information. How? Through risk management process. Okay, and what are the key points? We will discuss on the 4 key points as well. Okay, into our next slide. But let's first understand what is an ISMS. ISMS is a systematic approach, structured approach, step-by-step approach. So we have some steps to be followed. What are those steps? We will discuss on it separately. Okay, but what is the end goal? End goal is to secure the data, secure the sensitive information. How? By performing a risk assessment. Okay, now what are those key pointers? Four key pointer. Let's look into that. Okay, so where you want to put up this ISMS? get a plan for that. Okay, so I want to make sure that my CIA triad to be maintained. I want to make sure that my security, or you can say my organization data need to be secured. Okay, so let's make a plan for that. Now once you have the plan, after that what we are going to do, we are going to go with an risk management. Okay, so I will follow the risk management approach. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to identify the risk. How I'm going to identify the risk? By performing an assessment. So we will be doing an different types of assessment, whether you can go with an vulnerability assessment, whether you can go with an gap assessment, then you will be going with an risk assessment, or different types of assessment has been done. Why? Because end of the day I need to test that control which are already been established inside the organization. So we will try to find out the threat. Okay, we will try to find out the risk associated with that threat and what is the acceptable level of the you can say risk for the organization. Okay, if it is going beyond to that appetite, beyond to that accepted level, it need to be treated. If not, go with that. Okay, now step number 3, once you identify the problem, fix that problem. Now once the problem has been fixed, how you are going to fix that? Okay, my main question will be how you are going to fix that problem. By using the standard. Okay, using the standard. So over here we are using which standard? We are using an 27001 standard. Okay, so it's a standard giving us some requirement. Okay, now whenever you see the standard has been talking about a requirement, you can get certify against to that standard. And whenever you see the standard is talking about a guidance, you cannot get and certify against to that standard. Okay, so there is a difference between the guidance and standard, guidance and requirement. So requirement has been saying yes, you can get certified. Against to guidance, you cannot get certified. Let me give an example for this. 27001 is a requirement standard. 27002 is a guidance standard, giving you a guide how to do, how you are going to implement that control. 93 control which are listed into your 27001. Okay, now I will be adopting the standard which is your 27001. There are 93 controls, so I will be checking out of this 93 control which are the important control need to be aligned with my associated organization. Let me check on that and let's prepare a document for it. Okay, we call it as an SOA document. We will be talking about each and everything down the line, don't worry. Okay, in depth we will be discussing it. We will be talking about the clauses, control, all those things. Okay, so as of now I am simply setting up a base for you all. Okay, so we will decide that which standard we want to adopt. 27001. Okay, that's great. Then we will create a document out of this 93 control, which are the applicable, which are the important control need to be applied in that organization. Make a list of it. Which are not applied, make a list of it. Make given justification in this document. Okay, now once that has been done, next thing, continuous improvement. Okay, go with an continuous improvement. Once you have adopted the ISMS, what we have to do, remember this term, everyone. This is an important term. You might get this question in your interview as well. PDCA. The full form of an PDCA is plan, do, check, and act. Plan, do, check and act. Okay, how you are going to follow or how you are going to maintain this ISMS with the help of an PDCA cycle, and this cycle will never stop. So I am going to adopt plan, do, check and act cycle. Okay, so first I will be creating a plan, okay, that we need to maintain the ISMS. So let's prepare a plan for the risk assessment or for the audit. Let's talk about the technicality over here. So I will be making a plan for the audit. So once the plan has been prepared, then let's do the audit now. Okay, so while performing the audit, after completing the audit, I will be identifying the problems, the gaps, or you can say the non-conformity. Okay, now I will be checking that which controls are missing. Okay, so I identified the problem. Now The problem is there. Now how we are going to fix that problem? Which controls have been missing? List it out, and then fix it. Okay, again go back next year, plan for the audit, do the audit, find out the problem, fix the problem, again go back, do the audit. Okay, and this cycle will never go, never end. We call it as a continuous improvement. Okay, so by implementing the ISMS inside your organization, we are enhancing the cyber security, we are building stakeholders trust as well, and we are reducing the likelihood of the data breach as well. Okay, now let me give you an insight about the ISMS. Now inside the ISMS, what do we have? Now the next question will be hitting into your mind. Okay, I know about the basic thing about an ISMS. It has been talking about protect the data, protect the organization and sensitive information. How we are going to do that? What we have inside an ISMS? We have clauses and control. These are the key requirement controls and clauses inside your ISMS. Okay, and we need to remember this. It's a very important one. Okay, as an auditor, you should remember this. What are these clauses are? How many clauses we do have? The main clauses are sitting from 4 to 10. Okay, and ISO follow what? PDCA cycle. What do we have in this? Clauses. Clause number 4 has been saying context of the organization. Understand the organization. Okay, a new project has been assigned to you all. Let's imagine this. You have been assigned a new project that is to do an audit of InfosecTrain. Okay, so first thing what you will be doing, you will be getting an information about an InfosecTrain. You will be understanding what is the business model of an InfosecTrain. Okay, how many processes have been running inside an InfosecTrain? Who are the stakeholders of an InfosecTrain? What are the key interested party inside an InfosecTrain? So I need to get an information. That is what your clause number 4 has been saying. Understand the organization, context of the organization. Okay. Under to this we have what? Sub clauses. Now what this sub clauses has been saying? Understand internal external issues that are affecting the ISMS. Make a list of internal threat, external threat for the organization. What are the stakeholders and the security expectations from this? Make a list of an interested party and what are the expectation from that interested party? Make a list of it. Who will become an interested party? The employees, the stakeholders. Okay. Then you can say the client will become an interested party. So we will be making a list of it and what benefit or what expectation they are holding from the from this organization. Okay, now once you have this much of an information, next thing we will be defining the scope. Okay, now I have the information, a sufficient information. Now where we need to put this 27001? We are going to put this control, or you can say this 27001 inside the whole organization or to some part of the organization, because ISO has been saying it's a flexible model. ISO is not been forcing that yes, if you are adopting this 27000 mandatory, you have to comply with your complete organization. No, we are getting that much of an flexibility. ISO has been saying it's your choice. You want to comply only 5 process, or you want to cover up your whole organization, it's your choice. We are giving you a free hand. Decide it. Okay, now I will be defining the scope. I will be setting up a boundary where we are want to put this 93 controls or 60 controls from this 27001. Okay, now once the boundary has been decided, great, my half of the part has been done. This is a very important clause because we are going to refer this clause in our upcoming other clauses as well. Okay, now once my work has been done, next step I will be moving into the clause number 5. Clause number 5 has been talking about a leadership, the top management. What are the commitment given by the leadership? Top management must demonstrate what? Leadership and the commitment. Okay, what support they are giving for my implementation or for my audit, what roles and responsibility they have been assigned within the organization, that we are going to understand over here. Okay, so top management will be demonstrating what? They will be demonstrating their commitment. They will be establishing the policies. They will be defining the roles and responsibilities. Okay, now when I'm saying they will be establishing the policy, that means will they be writing the policies? No, they will be guiding it. They will be approving it. Okay, from their direction, they will be giving us a direction. There will be a separate team who is going to write that documentation part. Okay, it's not that CEO CTO will be writing all the policy. They are going to derive it. They are going to guide it. Okay, end of the day, their signature is very much important. Their approval matters. Okay, so that's why 5.2 is important. Established an information security policy that should come from the leadership. Okay, who decides the roles and responsibility and authorities within the organization? It's again come from the leadership. All of a sudden my management decide that we want to have a new process. Okay, now they have been saying that we want to start a new process. Now they will be deciding what to do in that process, how many employees or how many people will be associating in that process. They will be deciding that we want one team leader and we want 5 associates. Okay, so this will be coming from which end? From the leadership end. Now I know about the organization, I know about the commitment given by the leadership. So here I will be taking, or you can say I will be talking with the management. I will be doing an interview with them. I will be trying to connect with them and trying to understand about the you can say the commitment towards an ISMS. Okay, now once this has been done, clause number 5 has been done, then we will move to the clause number 6. Okay, we should remember these clauses. So I am focusing on these clauses. Why? Because we should remember this. Okay, now let's make a plan. Okay, now I will be creating a plan. My strategies will be prepared over here. Okay, I have an information now. I am getting a commitment from the top management. Next step, what I am going to do, I am going to create a plan. My strategies will be prepared. Plan of what? Plan to perform a risk assessment. Plan to treat that risk. Okay, so we will be creating a plan for the risk assessment. Okay, now once with the risk assessment, what we are going to identify the risk. So definitely that risk need to be treated. So what do we require? We require a plan for the risk treatment as well. Okay, so over here we will be creating that plan and set the objective as well. What is your end goal? Set the objective. Okay, so this planning part involves what? This planning part involves your establishment for your security objective. Okay, what you want to achieve and how you are going to achieve that. Okay, so we need to address the risk, we need to address the opportunity, and related to that we need to treat that risk as well. So create a plan. That is what the clause number 6 has been focusing on. Okay, now once my strategies have been prepared, okay, once it has been documented, once my plan has been ready, that we are going to do a risk assessment starting from let's say 30th April. Okay, and we will be conducting the risk assessment on site. What will be in my process, what will be the roles and responsibility, everything has been listed down in a document. Now I will be moving to the next clause. Support. To conduct this risk assessment, we want what? We want a resource. Who is going to do this? Auditor is going to do this. So let's get those auditors. Okay, so support clause has been saying provide a necessary resource in terms of a people, in terms of a budget, in terms of a tool. Okay, so I want 5 auditors. Along with that, the 5 auditors are coming with certain cost. That cost need to be approved from the management. Okay, they will be using some tools. Make sure those arrangements have been done. Okay, but if I'm hiring 5 auditors, if I'm getting 5 auditors, make sure they are competent enough. They know about the ISMS. Directly, I'm not going to hire anyone, or I'm not going to give any task to anyone. So we need to make sure that the person are competent enough in terms of a training, in terms of an awareness program. He should be having a knowledge of an ISMS. He should be having a knowledge of an information security. Okay, and make sure whoever you have been assigning the task, he should give an awareness regarding to the security policies towards your staff. Okay. Apart from that, they are going to do what? Risk assessment. They are going to identify the risk. Now this risk need to be shared, or this risk need to be communicated with your internal or external parties. Make sure they are very good with the communication as well. Okay, and everything relies on the document. How you are going to prove, how you are going to give and proof that you have done the task, how you are going to justify yourself? By showcasing the document. Okay, so document plays a very important role in an audit. Okay, in the strategies of an implementation as well. Each and everything whatever we do in implementation, we need to document each and everything. Every step need to be documented. Okay, policies, procedure, records, everything need to be documented. That what we are expecting from the implementer. Okay, so get the resources, make sure they are competent enough, they are having a complete knowledge, and they can provide an awareness session within the team members with the interested party. They can communicate the challenges with the internal external team, and they are good with the documentation as well. They are documenting each and everything. Okay, now I have prepared a plan, I have a resources. Now it's time to do that risk assessment. Okay, so this is my P part, this is my D part, PDCA cycle. We are following the PDCA cycle. We have made a plan for the risk assessment. Now it's time to do that risk assessment. That is what your clause number 8 has been saying, operation. Okay, implement the risk treatment plan, perform the security risk assessment, manage the challenges. Do the risk assessment, identify the problem. Now that problem need to be treated. Take this plan and treat that problem. How you are going to make the changes? Prepare a change management plan as well. Already we have done over here. Set the goals. Okay. If you are making any changes, go as per the plan. Changes cannot be done overnight. We cannot do the changes overnight. We should be having a plan for that. Change management plan. We have it. Okay, so whatever you want to changes, we want to make and changes inside the organization, go by the plan. That is what your operation has been saying, clause number 8. Okay, so this deals with the operation planning. What we do, we perform the assessment, we identify the problem, we use the Annex A over here, we try to cross verify which controls have been missing. Let's put that control to treat that risk. Okay, and we have decided to put any control, go as per the plan, go with the change management plan. Directly don't put any control, first test. Okay, okay, go with a step by step approach. That is what the ISMS has also been saying. Okay, now my risk assessment has been done, my treatment has been done, I have changed as per the plan. I will be moving into the clause number 9 now. Clause number 9 has been saying, okay, you have done your part. Okay, you have identified a problem, now you have fixed that problem as well. Next, what? Evaluate. Okay, performance evaluation, monitor those control, analyze those control, evaluate those control. What? For their performance, whether they are working fine or not, whether they are effectively working or not. How? By conducting a risk assessment. Okay, so we conduct an internal audit to check whether those controls which have been implemented are been working correctly or not. Okay, so first I have done what? Implementation. Now it's time to test it. We are going to test all the controls which are already been implemented to check whether my ISMS is effectively working or not. Okay, once the internal audit has been done, the report has been out, that report will be submitted to the management. What they are going to do? Review. Okay, they will review that report. With this, what I am doing, I am going with a continuous improvement. Why? Because risk is not static. Every time risk will change. Okay, opportunities will change. That's why we have to conduct a risk assessment, or you can say internal audit, on a regular basis. If you identify any problem, take corrective action and treat that risk. With this, I am continuously improving my ISMS, and this will never stop. That's why we have this P, D, C, and A. What is my plan part? Prepare a strategies for a risk assessment, do that risk assessment, check your risk assessment has been done, and if this is your act. Continuous improvement. Okay. Now these clauses are very much important to remember. Now we talked about the basics of the clauses, that we have 4 to 10 clauses. Okay. So this is again a step-by-step approach, giving us a strategy that how you are going to do any implementation or how you are going to do any audit inside an organization. So we required a strategy for that. That is what on the first slide, if you remember, it has been saying it's an systematic approach, step-by-step approach. So this is what the steps you are going to follow. Okay. Now next, my main concern is controls. Okay, so we talked about the clauses. Now let's talk about the control part as well. What are those controls? Which are the important controls from the organization perspective? Are we going to implement each and every control? No, it's totally depending on the organization to organization, based on to their risk appetite level. Okay, based on the assessment you have done over here. So how many controls we do have? With this updated version of your 2022, we are having in total 93 controls now. Previously, we are following which 2013 version. In that, how many controls we do are having? 114. But we got an update in 2022. With that, what is the update? It's been saying that we have new list. Okay, we have merged some of the control, and now we have a systematic way. Segregation has been done in a very systematic way. No need to run here and there. Okay, so there are 4 categories now. One is your control related to the organization, that is your organization control. How many controls we do have in this? 37 control in total. Control related to the people, 8 control. Control related to the physical security, there are 14 control, and control related to the technology which is used inside an organization, that is of 34 control. In total, there are 93. If you want to put a control for the organization, we are going to pick this one. If you want to put any control for the people, we will use this. If you want to put a control related to the physical security, we will use this. If you want to use the control for the technology which is used internally, you will use this. Okay, so these are our category for your control. Organization control, this address the organization context. Okay, this address your policy, roles, responsibility. People control, it focusing on the humans. Okay, for example, background checks, security awareness training, disciplinary process. This all things comes under to the people control. Then is your physical control. This is related to the physical security, premises, assets. Okay, technological control. This is involved for the technology, protecting your technology. For example, encryptions, access control, malware protection. Okay, so what we are following over here, we are following the Annexure A. Annexure A is giving you the list of all the 93 controls. Okay, so we need to specify which out of this 93 controls, which are very much important for my organization. Okay, so for that we have already done the risk assessment. Okay, now I have a basic knowledge about an ISMS. I have a basic knowledge about the clauses. I have a basic knowledge about the key controls as well. Okay, now think as it is. Let's go back in our project, that you are assigned with a project to do an implementation of ISMS in InfosecTrain. So first thing, what you are going to do? First thing, you are going to understand the organization. You don't know about InfosecTrain, what are the process, what are the technology, what are how many teams are there. So you will gather the information. Okay, there will be some basic controls which are already existing inside an organization, that is of an InfosecTrain. So what we are going to do now, we are going to conduct a gap assessment. Okay, I am not preparing a plan, I am not conducting a risk assessment now. I am trying to identify where the InfosecTrain has been sitting today. So first thing, what you are going to do, you are going to perform a gap assessment. What is the current state and where they want to reach. Now to do a gap assessment, again we follow a step-by-step process. Okay. Now what we do in gap assessment, we try to analyze, we try to identify the disciplinaries between your current security practice and 27001 requirement. Okay. Where you are sitting now and where you want to reach. Okay. How you are going to do the gap assessment? This is the steps listed down over here. So first, I will be going with an preparation. Step number one is the preparation. Now what I'm going to do in an preparation, so first I'm going to define the scope, where I want to do the gap assessment, which department, which process. Okay. Now I'm going to set up a goal. Okay. So I'm going to check the risk reduction. I'm going to check the partial alignment. I'm going to check the full compliant as well. Okay. Then I will be moving to the step number two. What is the step number two? It's been saying review ISO 27001 requirement. What are the mandatory requirements? Clause 4 to clause 10. Those are the mandatory requirements. So I will be checking, are they following those best practice? I will study the Annex A control. Out of this 93 controls, which all our controls are already applicable inside this organization? I will try to figure it out. Okay. Then I will move to the step number 3. Assess current security posture. Okay. So I will be looking into some of the documents of the organization. Which document? Their existing policies, their existing procedures, their existing controls. Okay. Is there any policy document available by this organization? Is there any procedure document available by this organization? If they have been saying they are having 10 controls, do they have any validation for that? Do they have any evidence for that controls? Okay. Then I am going to compare this all information against 27001. Okay. I am going to compare it with the given requirement, that is your leadership and governance, clause number 5. I will be comparing again to the risk management, how they are managing the risk. Okay. I will be looking for the access control. I will be looking for the incident management. I will be looking for the business continuity. So like this, I am going to identify that. I am going to look for each and every requirement. Okay. So with this, I will come to know that what problem is there inside this organization structure. Okay. How many policies are missing? How many controls are missing? Okay. Have they performed the gap assessment? Have they performed the this internal audit? If yes, when is the last audit has been done? Do they have all the controls? Do they have all the documents updated ready with them? I will be checking on it. How many days or months for this remediation? So it depends on to the size of the organization. What is the size of the organization is, it will take time. Okay, so ideally for the implementation, it takes at least 6 months minimum time, bare minimum, or it can go if the size of the organization is big, it can go beyond to an year as well. Clause 1, 2, and 3 are the basic things. Okay, 1, 2, 3 is been saying, okay, get ready for it. Make a can say take an approval or take a decision from the management voluntarily. All those things. Okay, so by default, everyone will be following the 1, 2, 3. SOA stands for Statement of Applicability. This is a very important document. Statement of Applicability. In this, all the 93 controls are listed. Out of this 93 controls, which are implemented and which are not, you will get all the details. Okay. Now coming back up to our the steps. So what I have done, I have checked. Okay, I have compared it against to the existing or to the requirement standard. That is your 27001. Okay, now I came to know what are the missing challenge, what are the missing things. Okay, so that is what your gaps are. Okay, is there any policy has been missing, is there any control has been missing? Okay, so how many times they are performing the audit, is there any ISMS manual or control has been missing? So we will try to find it and document all those things. Okay, and then prepare a remediation plan. But before to this, I am going to prioritize the thing. Okay, not every control need to be implemented. Make a prioritization of those control. High risk area, high risk gap. There is no incident response plan. That means it's an it has been sitting onto a very priority. Okay, so I will be categorizing those gaps in the form of three. First will be my high risk, second will be my medium risk, and third will be my low risk. Okay, high risk, let's suppose this company is not doing a backup, there is a weak access control, so this will be sitting onto my high risk area. Okay, what will become my medium risk area? So the example for this, the best example will be, let's suppose they are having the outdated policy, that will become a medium risk. Why it is not coming into an high risk? Because already they have the policy. Okay, they are not denying the fact they don't have a policy, but that policy has been outdated, so it will come under to a medium risk. Low risk will be, okay, there is a minor challenge with the documentation, the document is not properly aligned, it's not properly prepared, so it will be sitting under to my low risk area. So like this I am going to categorize the gap. Okay, what are the missing risk? Okay, what are the medium risk, what are the low risk? The once I have the categorization, then I will move to the step number 5, that is your development of an remediation plan. Okay, so we have addressed the high risk, so let's implement those, let's patch those things. Okay, so there was a problem with your access control, we are going to implement the multi-factor authentication. Okay, there was a problem with a backup, we will going to integrate the backup policy now, mandatory, we have to do it. Okay, now once you are creating a remediation plan, you need a team as well who is going to treat that risk. So there will be an IT team, okay, or technical team who is going to look after this, look after the implementation of a multi-factor authentication, look after the implementation of a backup policy, your technical control, your technical team. Okay, then you will be giving the roles and responsibility for that, and after that your management is going to approve it. Okay, over here also your clauses have been working. Okay, now every plan comes with an timeline, or you can say the deadline, because it's a project, it comes with a start and end date. Okay, so your high risk need to be treated in how many days? Critical risk need to be treated in at least in 30 days. I am giving a tat of 30 days. So all the critical risk need to be treated, or at least get started within the 30 days to fix the problem. Long term will be 6 to 12 months for the full completion, for the full compliance, because we know nothing can be changed overnight, it will take time. Okay, if the risk can be treated very soon, the minimum tat will be 30 days. Now I want to establish a complete new process, so it will take time. Okay, the budgeting will be decided, then the resource will be hired, then the training will be given, then the new products will be purchased. So like this it will take time, so long term duration will be in between 6 to 12 months for the full completion of your compliance. Okay, now once we have the timeline for the development for that remediation plan, that we will move to the step number 6. What the step number 6 has been saying? It has been saying validate, monitor the progress, verify. How you are going to verify? Internal audit. Okay, schedule a gap analysis annually. Okay, so like this I am going to validate and monitor the progress on a regular basis. Okay, so whenever any question is been asked related to the gap assessment, how you are going to do the gap assessment, so these are the steps you are going to follow. So first I will be getting ready for that gap assessment. Once I am very much ready for that gap assessment, I will be moving to the step number 2. I will be starting reviewing the ISO 27001 requirement. Okay, I will try to check all the clauses. I will try to check out of this 93 controls, which all controls are aligned with this organization. Okay, then we will move into the step number 3. Access the current security posture. How many policies, procedure, what technical controls, what operation process is been assigned, is been aligned with this organization. How we do that? We go with an observation. We try to speak with the employees. We take the interview. We try to verify from the control. Okay, now once I access that security posture, I will have the problem list. That is your gaps. I will have the missing link. Okay, what things are been missing over here, what controls have been missing over here. Then we will create a category: high risk, medium risk, low risk category. Okay, and based on this category we will develop a plan to fix. Okay, so I need to fix that high risk. Okay, what is the minimum tat? Minimum tat will be my 30 days. Maximum, it can depend. Okay, depending on to the business to business, depending on to your process to process as well. Remediation time takes remediation time don't have any time. Okay, so it, as I say, it depends on to the risk to risk. Okay, how much resources you required, how much budget you required. Based on that you will decide, your management will decide. Okay, they will give their commitment over here. Okay, now this is the simplest way to perform the gap assessment in a step by step approach. Okay, we also call it as a systematic approach. Now let's talk about the next structure. Okay, now I know what is the problem inside this organization. I have identified the gap. Okay, so whenever we are assigned with a project of the implementation, so first thing what we do, we try to find out what is the current state of the organization. That is what the gap analysis is. Now I know the current state of the organization, so we will be deciding the scope now. Okay, so now I am going to sit with the management. I am going to showcase that what problem they have, where they are sitting as of now. Okay, now let's talk where you want to put or where you want to have the ISMS. You want to cover the whole organization or to a certain part. Okay, so before implementing 27001 2022, clearly define the scope, define the objective. Okay, why? Because it is very much critical, so you can give an assurance that the alignment with the business need and compliance requirement need to be provided. Okay, so as I said, we are going to set up a boundary. That can be an organization, the complete organization. It can be an informational asset as well, your key assets, or it can be an legal and regulatory requirement as well. So for defining the scope, we need to define the boundary. It can become your IT part, your department, IT department, your HR department, your financial department. It can be a location wise as well, your headquarter or some branch office or some cloud environment. Okay. Then it can be an information assets as well, your critical data center, or let's say your some systems, your servers, your database, or some third party services, you are taking it from the cloud. Okay, or else it can become it can be a legal or regulatory requirement as well. Like nowadays we have GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS, if applicable. These are your industry specific compliance, which are which are, we can say, coming with some mandate things. Okay, so we need to document the scope. Now how the scope has been written, just a formal way I am telling you. So we are going to simply write in scope, let's say the ISMS to all IT system and data of client, okay, which are stored in, let's say, in data center. Okay, data center need to be protected. So what we have defined, we have defined a boundary. What we only want to secure IT systems and the employees, or you can say the client data, which have been stored in the data center. That's it. Because these are the sensitive information for the organization. So we need to make sure that your control need to be aligned only to this path. This is the boundary which has been set. Okay. So like this, you can define. Okay. You can create the strategy, or you can say you can consider those area while writing. You can say while writing this scope document. Okay. Along with that, you have to keep one thing also in mind: objective. What is your main goal? What is your agenda? Keep the objective in mind. Objective is to achieve the ISMS. Okay, to get the certificate. In how many days? I am planning to get certified at least in 12 months. So I am setting up what? Deadline. I am setting up an aim over here. So I have to make sure, my organization have to make sure that we can get certified within 12 months. That is what my main objective is. Along with that, I have to ensure that the GDPR is also been regulated. Okay, so like this, we will be setting up an objective. We will be setting up an aim. Within how many days? When you are planning? Within how many time you are planning to get certified? Okay, so these things also need to be kept in mind while writing or while deciding the scope. Okay, so this will be done in front of a management. The discussion will be done with the management. Okay, and after that, once the approval has been done, we will start, we can say we will start acting on it. Okay, so some of the smartest criteria to define the objective we can keep. For example, we can see we can keep like let's say I need to encrypt all the client data. I need to reduce the data breach at least 20% yearly. Okay, along with that, I need to implement multi-factor authentication in 3 months. Okay, so we have to make sure by the quarter 4 of 2025 this implementation has been completed. Okay, so what is this? I am simply setting up a criteria over here. My objective is set, my goal is set, that all the data need to be encrypted. Okay, breach needs to be reduced at least by 20%. Multi-factor authentication need to be implemented within 3 months. Okay, and within by the quarter, we have to make sure that everything need to be implemented, everything need to be corrected. I need to get certified by the December, you can say. Okay, so like this, you have to make sure the strategies is been prepared aligned with your objectives. Okay, now once the objectives have been set, then what we will be doing, we will try to achieve that objective. Okay, so what will be your common ISMS objective to be achieved? First, security and compliance, risk management, business continuity, awareness and culture. Okay, just quickly have a look over here. What has been saying? Common ISMS objective: security and compliance, risk management, business continuity, awareness and culture. It is again following the cycle, PDCA cycle over here. Okay, so now I have the list, that what I have to do, what I have to achieve. So as per the list, we will try to aim that we can achieve this thing within the deadline. Okay. So first thing, security and compliance. What I need to be get compliant with, if there any regulatory body who are who have been associated with this, so we need to make sure we need to comply with that as well. Along with that, the requirement standard 27001, comply with that as well. How you are going to do that? Already you have prepared a plan. Here also it has been saying make a plan for the risk assessment. How you are going to manage the risk? Okay. Once you are identifying the risk, make sure you are continuously running it as well, continuously following that cycle. Business continuity, you don't want that business to be stopped, the show must go on. Okay, how? Again and again I will be doing an assessment on a regular basis. Okay, and make sure the awareness has been followed, it has been given to each and every employee on a regular basis, because ISO 27001, it has been saying mandatory your employees should be aware about the recent risk threat facts as well. Okay, this is the core process to establish risk management process, documentation control process, incident management process. Okay, so it's again a step-by-step guide to establish the ISMS process and procedure inside your 27001. Some of the core process to be established. How you are going to manage the risk, identify it. Okay, identify, or you can say risk assessment criteria, certain criteria for that. How you are going to document the things. Okay, so that is what your common objective has been saying. Now, once I have the plan ready, we will start reacting as per the plan. Okay, now let me show you some of the best practice. What do we follow to achieve the objective? Okay, now let's say all of a sudden in an interview someone has asked you, okay, so let's suppose what are the critical area which you are going to address first. Okay, when a task has been given, a project has been given to you to for an risk assessment, or let's say for an gap assessment for an implementation. So what area you are going to look first? Okay, now again we cannot remember each and everything, so some of the key factors I have noted down for you all. So these are the major area which plays an important role for every organization. Okay, so whenever you start with an assessment or whenever you start with a gap assessment, so we require to look into this area. Okay, so developing information security policies, what are those? So effective information security policies from the foundation of your ISMS. This document demonstrate what? Leadership commitment and provide a clear direction for protecting sensitive data. Okay, here how to create them properly. So first we need to identify what are the required policies for the organization, mandatory. Few of the important policy for the organization. What are those? Information security policy. This has been sitting onto the top. Okay, every organization will be having the information security policy. It becomes a top level document. Then related to that, we have some of the supporting policies as well. Access control policy, password management policy, data protection and privacy policy, acceptable use policy, incident management policy. Okay, business continuity policy, remote working policy, asset management policy, security policy, supplier security policy. Okay, so these are some of the common policies, or you can say some of the important policy for the organization. Now whenever any policy has been written, okay, or whenever you will be writing any policy, for example I am writing an access control policy. So what we are going to include that in that policy, first of all, the document should be at least of an 1 to 2 page, not more than that. 1 to 2 page is more than enough. Okay, what we are going to include in that policy, first thing will be your purpose. What is the purpose of that policy? Why does it exist? Second is scope. This access control is policy is for whom? Okay, what it covers. Third will be your responsibilities. Who is responsible person to manage to maintain this policy? Who is going to implement this? Who is going to enforce this? Then you are going to set up the rule. Fourth point will be your policy statement, the detailed information about that policy. Okay, fifth, review schedules. This policy need to be reviewed every annually. Update need to be given. Okay, and that update need to be reflected. So this is what you are going to include in that document. What is that policy is all about? What is the purpose of that policy? Why does it exist? What it covers? Okay, who is the responsible person? Who has implemented this policy? The person name. Who is maintaining this policy? The person details. When this policy is been this policy came into an existence. Date. Who approved this policy? The management name and the date. Followed by the policy details. What specific rule you are going to include? The statement. And last is your review schedule. Okay, every annually, can say every annually we are going to review this policy, and this need to be updated every year, can say every year. Okay, so this is the best practice to write the policy. Apart from that, there are few other things as well. We make sure that we don't use any technical term. Okay, so we will try to avoid the technical jargon so everyone can easily review this, read that. Again, that should be only of in 1 to 2 page. Okay, make sure you are aligning with your business. It is well documented. Okay, and available with everyone. Okay, now once you have drafted the policy, okay, after that it will be reviewed by your legal or HR team. Okay, it will be approved by the management, and then it will be distributed among the employees. Okay, once it has been distributed among the employees, the awareness training has been given to all the employees. Why we have enforced this policy, access control policies, why we have enforced the password management policy, that every 35 days the password, you will receive a pop-up that you need to reset the password. Okay, along with that, you are going to only go with an 8 character 12 character password. Along with that, there are certain terms and conditions for it. Okay, so like this, we need to give an awareness training for each and every employee related to every policy. Okay, communicate with them. Okay, and make sure you are regularly reviewing as well those policy at least annually. Okay, so these things need to be addressed. This need to things need to be followed. Don't do any common mistakes while writing in your policy. Don't use any technical term. Don't create the policy if no one is able to read it. Okay, don't copy paste from anywhere else. Directly you are copying and pasting it from an internet. No, don't do that. Make sure you are following all those policy which you have been writing has been aligning with your organization. Okay, and also update it as well on a regular basis if there is any incident, and based on that incident you management has given some update that we have to make the changes in your current state, update it. Okay, so always start with an writing with an 4 to 5 policy at least, and slowly and steadily increase it. Okay, so whenever a task has been given to you, so start writing the policy at least 1 document or 2 document in the initial state, and slowly and steadily start writing other policies as well. Okay, and let me show you one best website which you can refer for these policies. This is just for a reference team, huh? So you can refer it directly from this website. It's a very good website. Sans providing you the template for the policies. Okay, you name it, you have all the policies over here. Return it over here. Okay, on the left hand side we can see the category: application, compute, governance, identity and access, network, resilience. If you click over here, here you go. This is the template of that policy. Okay, you can adopt from here. This website is giving us a template. Okay, so if you want it as a reference for a study purpose, you can use it, you can visit it. I'm sharing this link as well over the chat. Yes, company can be certified in one part, in two part, in three part as well. It's totally their call. Okay, it's totally their call. How what much of a scope they want to define, how much they want to cover. Okay, so now we have gone with a step-by-step approach. We have prepared a guide. We have identified the problem. We have written the policy as well. What next? Next is you're establishing the process and procedure. Okay, now I'm going to establish the process and procedures. There are few process and procedures need to be established with your implementation. Okay, these are the core process to be established. What are those? Risk management process. The very first thing, how we are going to identify the risk. So we are going to set first risk identification methodology. Okay, so first we are going to set up a risk identification methodology, then we are going to set up a criteria. Okay, you will be setting up risk assessment criteria. Okay, and then risk treatment criteria. Okay, so first you are going to create a methodology how you are going to identify the risk. Then as per the methodology you are going to do an risk assessment and you are going to treat that risk. So that is what your risk management process has been saying. Okay, now once I have created this process, then the second process has been saying documental control process. We are going to create a document control process, the version control system, how your approval is how your approval workflow is been going. Okay, what are the access restriction for those documents? So we will be creating a life cycle of the document, who is the owner of the document, to the to, you can say, to the shredding of the document. So first the owner will be creating the document, then the document will be approved. Okay, then the document will be distributed. Once the document has been expired, it will be shredded. Okay, so like this we will be creating a complete life cycle of the document, the version control, the workflow, approval workflow, the access restriction. Okay, the next process is talking about the incident management process. This is also a very important process inside an organization. Okay, if any incident has been identified or been reported, how we are going to manage that incident? So we need a team who is going to detect it. Okay, so detecting and reporting procedure, how you are going to detect, how you are going to report any incident. So we required a plan for that. Let's suppose I visited a website and that website is giving me a pop-up all of a sudden today that this website has been malicious one. Every time, every day I'm visiting it, but today all of a sudden I'm getting this pop-up. Okay, to whom I am going to connect with, to whom I am going to share this information. So we need to have that process in line. So I will be reporting this problem to an team, or you can say to an security team. So they will be taking care, so they will be taking in charge and doing a root cause analysis, what actually the problem is the problem with our internal network, or is the problem with that we can say with that website. So we are going to block that website. Okay, so that incident need to be reported. To whom we are going to report? So we require a plan for that. We require a, you can say, a list of that. Okay, a reporting person. Now once we have the reporting procedure in place, then we have the second we can say the second step, escalation metrics. Okay, so we will be having an escalation metrics as well. If the risk, or you can say if the incident is not been treated, or the incident is uh, not been reviewed. Okay, so that incident need to be escalated as well. To whom we are going to report now, to whom we are going to notify now. So we should have that information as well. Okay, and last is your post incident review. After the incident, review it, whether that incident has been mitigated or not. Okay, so last we will be having the post incident review. After the incident, what damages have been done, or after the can say treatment of that incident, whether the similar kind of an incident has been encountered or not. Okay, so we are going to do and review for that as well. Okay, so these are the basic things which need to be aligned. Okay, so these are some of the basic process need to be aligned within the organization. We have other things as well. We have change management process as well, how the change request form, okay, how this impact assessment step work, what is the backout procedure. Then we are going to have an access control procedure as well, user provision, deprovision, privileges, okay, emergency access protocol. So like this we will be creating a multiple process. Okay, if you are planning for the ISMS, definitely you will be creating a multiple process, you will be aligning with a multiple process, and for that how you are going to run that process, we want what, we want a procedure for it, a guide. Okay, so I have a change management process. Now how that guide or how that change management will be followed, so we will be creating a structure. Okay, so in that procedure development framework we will be giving the list, what is the purpose of this procedure, what is the scope, what is the role, who are the authority person who is going to make these changes, what are the step by step can say instructions. Is there any can say this relatable document you are going to you are going to you can say refer, make a list of it. And last one is your revision history. So like this we will be creating a guide. Okay, so procedure has been talking about the guide, how you are going to manage the risk, how you are going to treat the risk. So create a guide for it. If you identified the risk which is under to my appetite, so how you are going to treat it? What will be your plan? What will be your treatment strategy? So we want a procedure for that. Okay, who will be the responsible person? Create a procedure for that. Okay, we are going to create a flow chart. Okay, and we are going to mention all the specific point. All the you can say process will be mapped. Okay, if you are using any tool, you are going to align the tools as well. So we have some of the tools which have been integrated. You can configure the ITSM tools as well. Nowadays we have ServiceNow, we have Jira. Okay, you can easily set up this tool for the audit trails as well. Okay, now once your process and procedures have been aligned, then you are going to go with a documentation. Okay, my process has been ready, my procedures have been ready. Let's document each and everything. Okay, now document plays what, it's very important. These are your evidence, how you are going to showcase. So we required the documents for every tier. So these are what, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, these are the documents which are very much important. Tier 1 document are your governance document, for example your scope document, your policy document, your risk management framework. Those documents are coming under to your tier 1 governance document. Then we have is your tier 2 process document. What are the procedures? Incident management process, business continuity plan. Okay, so the plans will be coming under to your process document. And last is your supporting record. By the name itself, you can see record are what? These are your reports which cannot be modified. Those are acting as in supporting your risk treatment plan, your attendance log, your internal audit report, your management review report. So those will come under to your tier 3 support records. Okay, similarly we have some of the smart documents as well. Now to make a document we simply follow the rule. Which rule? 5C rule. We call it as an 5C rule. Okay, make sure your document is very much clear. Okay, make sure your document is very much concise. Make sure your document is current. Okay, that means you are using the latest version, updated one. Make sure your document is consistent. Okay, you are using the standard template to maintain the document, and that document is also controlled one as well. Okay, your version management, version 1, version 2, version 3, which version you are using as of now. So we have implemented this ISMS in 2019. So every year we are making the changes. So as of now it is in version 7 we have been using. Every year there are new changes. So we are not going to make the changes in your you can say in your old in your in the same document. Every time you are going to review and maintain a new document. Okay, and going to give an version for that document as well. So like this we follow the 5C rule: clear, avoid all the technical jargon, consign one policy, at least that policy one policy in one document, and that document should be at least of an 1 to 2 page maximum. Use the current version, the latest one. After every 12 months we are going to go with and review. Concise, consistent, we are going to use the standard template. Every time we are going to use the standard template, don't do any modification, don't use any fancy thing in your you can say in that document. Make sure you are following the version management as well. So like this you are going to use: first give the title of the document, then give the effectiveness, in which month, in which date this document has been written, what is the version number, version 2, version 3, when it is been reviewed, the date of the review, and who is the owner of the document, CIO, CTO, whoever it is. Okay, so like this we will be maintaining the document. Whenever we write any policy document, process document, or procedure document, we will maintain this like this only. Okay, and that need to be reviewed on a ongoing basis, on a regular basis. Okay, now I have a basic understanding about the phases. Okay, I know about the policies, I know about the documentation. Now it's time for the implementation now. Okay, we have a list of controls which are missing inside the organization. It's time to implement those controls. Okay, so that is what my next part is: implementation and managing the ISMS. Okay, so directly I'm going to implement those controls? No, we required a plan again for that. Build a foundation, phase number 1. So I have divided this into an 4 phase. So phase number 1 has been saying foundation building. Okay, I want a endorsement, I want a support from a management for the implementation. Support in what terms? Approval, budget, okay, team. So we want an endorsement from the management, we want a support from the management. So they are going to give an approval, they are going to allocate a budget, they are going to appoint some teams, as you can say some auditors as well. Then finalize the scope. Okay, so we have identified some of the assets in which we are going to implement the control, finalize it. Okay, so what are your justification, what are your not what are your not implementation, so finalize it. Then compare with your current state. Gap analysis has been done, compare it with your current state of your requirement standard. Prioritize your remediation strategies. Okay, which control you are going to implement first, which control you are going to implement second. So we are going to create a priority of that. Okay, so what you are going to refer, I am going to refer the gap analysis report over here. Now once my foundation has been built, once I know which tasks need to be done first, then I will be moving into the phase number 2, core implementation. Okay, so in which I am going to create, or I am going to refer the criteria, or you can say the category which has been done in your risk assessment. The criteria, the category has been listed over here: high risk, low risk, medium risk. Okay, use that framework to prioritize the task. Okay, or if you haven't done the risk assessment, do the risk assessment and prioritize the task. Both things you can do over here. Okay, if you have done the risk assessment, well and good, that's a very great strategy you have done. If not, do it. Okay, now then we are going to control, we are going to go with a control implementation. We are going to select the relevant control. We are going to deploy the technical safeguard over here. Okay, technical safeguard as in your encryption, multi-factor authentication, all those things, your access review. Okay, and along with that, I am going to write a document. Okay, procedure. We want a document for that control. We want a document of that process. If you are implementing any process, procedure, or control, document it. That is what your phase number 2 has been saying. Okay, so I'm starting an implementation now. So I have set my criteria, I have set my goal. It's time for the implementation. Let's refer the framework, let's refer the gap analysis report and start implementing those prioritized controls first. Now, once the control implementation has been done, next thing is your operational. Okay, control has been implemented, start operating those control. How? Give and training awareness first of all to all the employees who are a part of that process. Integrate the tool. Okay, tool integration as in we use the GRC platform selection, or we use SIM source implementation, or we use the automatic compliance monitoring as well nowadays. Okay, so to monitor, I will be referring some of the tools, monitoring of the control, monitoring of the strategies. I will be using the controls tools over here, and then go with the process embedding. Okay, you are going to incorporate some of the security information as well. For example, HR onboarding, offboarding process, or you can say the procurement workflow, or any change management workflow. Okay, so that process you are going to embed over here. Okay, once your controls are been are into an operational phase, it's time to review it. That is what your phase number 4 has been saying. Performance evaluation. Okay, performance management and continuous improvement. Monitor each and every system, perform an internal audit, go with a management review. So with this I'm going with an corrective action. Okay, so I am going to keep a KPI. Okay, I'm going to define in KPI over here. I am going to implement a continuous control monitoring. Okay, every monthly I'm going to check is there any security incident has been triggered. So we are going to go with a dashboard. Okay, annually we are going to schedule an audit. Annually we are going to schedule a management review. Okay, and with this I am going to you can say with this I am following the corrective action, because risk is not static. I am identifying the risk on a regular basis and mitigating those risks. Okay, so with this you can maintain the checklist as well. You can daily review the logs. You can daily review the alert which has been monitored. Okay, or you can weekly do an vulnerability scan, or you can monthly do an reviews for your for the access right, or you can quarterly review the policies, or annually you can conduct a risk assessment. So like this you can maintain a checklist. Okay, so mandatory, the team will going to review the logs every day. Mandatory, every week there will be a vulnerability scan inside my network. Okay, mandatory, every month there will be access site review to be done. Quarterly there will be a policy review to be happen, and annually there will be a full risk assessment to be done. So like this we can create a checklist. It's better to have a checklist, always it's a better. Okay, and followed by we will be creating a you can say the status. Okay, so status will be, let's say your compliance status is 30% as of now. Your control effectiveness 40% for this month. Your incident trend is 30% for this month. So like this we can create a, you can say, a dashboard where you can have a bird eye view, or where your management can have a bird eye view. Okay, so this is what the roadmap you are going to follow. Very simple roadmap. First, create a foundation, build a foundation. Okay, take an approval, take in support from the management, decide the scope, perform the gap analysis, create a strategy for the risk assessment, do the risk assessment, identify which controls are missing. Okay, create a list of that control. Now document it and start implementing those control. Along with that, I will be providing and training and awareness to the employees related to the new controls, related to the new policies. Okay, and make sure you have integrating the tools as well, where I am getting a bird eye view of all the controls. What is the current status of the control? How much it has been implemented? How well it has been working? Okay, along with that, I am going to embed the control or embed the policy with the other process as well. Okay, now once my controls are into an operational phase, I am going to review it on a regular basis. So for that, I am going to create a checklist. Okay, daily wise, weekly wise, monthly wise, quarterly wise, annual wise. So with this, I am going with a corrective action. I am maintaining my ISMS for a longer period of run. Okay, now this much time and effort has been invested. So organization has invested a time and effort for the implementation, for the audit as well. Okay, why they have invested so much time and money? End goal. What was the end goal for every organization? End goal is to get certification. That is what the end goal for an every organization is. Now, what is the process of an certification? Do we follow any process? Do we follow any, we can say, any cycle over there? Yes, we have a process for that. We have a step by step approach for that certification. This is what the certification process will look like. Okay. Now, this process has been divided into 3 stages. Okay. Remember these 3 stages: before the audit, initial audit, and beyond audit. Very easy to remember. Okay. InfosecTrain, what they decided? They decided to go with an ISMS implementation, correct? For that, they had hired some of the auditors to help them for the implementation. So, auditor visited the site, the location, done the implementation first. After the implementation, what InfosecTrain is going to do? They are going to check whether the controls, whether the ISMS is properly implemented or not. There will be an internal audit and management review. Okay. Once they get an assurance, okay, everything is correct, everything is fine for me. Every control is functioning very good. My can say my data, my assets are very much safeguarded now. Next thing, what they are going to do, they are going to select a certification body from the market. We have many certification body available in the market. Okay, so generally we have two certification body. One certification body is going to provide a certificate to an individual like you and me, and one certification body is going to provide a certification for the organization. Both are very much different. Okay, so this InfosecTrain will be selecting a certification body who can provide a certificate for that organization. So these 3 steps will come under to and before the audit stage. Okay, now once the certification body is been selected, it will go under to an preparation. That certificate body will going to assign a pool of an auditor who are going to visit the site and evaluate the effectiveness of the ISMS. Okay, this is my certification body. They will select the auditor, okay, and send those auditor to this location. So that will be first is your preparation phase. Next, what they are going to do, this certification body will going to perform a stage 1 audit. There is a difference between stage 1 audit and stage 2 audit. In stage 1 audit, they check whether you are ready or not. You are ready for the audit. Okay, they will check whether your documents are proper and updated or not. Whether your internal audit is done as per schedule or not. They will check whether your management review is been done as per the schedule or not. Okay. So in stage 1 audit, this external auditor, what they are going, they are simply checking whether your organization is ready for the audit. Okay, once they get an assurance that yes, you are ready for the audit, your all the things are updated, your all the documents are updated, your internal review, your management review has been done, you have treated all the problem, then they will go with an on-site audit. That will be a stage 2 audit. Your actual audit will start from here. Okay, this auditor will visit the site, they will start collecting the evidence, they will start evaluating your location, your, you can say, your ISMS, okay, for the decided scope which has been decided by the organization at the first stage. So as per the scope, they will start evaluating your effectiveness of the ISMS. They will start collecting the evidence. Okay, how the evidence has been collected in the form of an auditor. First, they will observe the things. Then they are going to review the document. Then they are going to go with an interview. Okay, interview with the management, interview with the persons. Then they will go with a technical verification. Review your technology. And last is your, okay, and last is your analysis. Okay, analyze all together and come to an conclusion. This is how we conduct the analysis, or you can say this is how we collect the evidence. So first we visit the site, we try to observe the things, then you are going to review the document, then you will start interviewing the persons, then you will go with a technical verification, you will look into the technology, you will try to ask for the reports of different assessment which is already been conducted by the organization, then you will analyze it all together. Okay, one more thing, you will follow all the clauses over here as well, clause 4 to clause 10. It is the same thing what has been done, what we have discussed as of now, the same thing what we do in the audit as well. Okay, so whatever we have done in the implementation, same thing we do in the audit as well. One thing we are not doing in an audit is the gap assessment. This has been done before the implementation. Okay, second, we don't implement as well, we simply try to find out the problem, that's it. The implementation part is the implementing team is going to do. As an auditor, you are simply going to identify the problem. Okay, now coming back to the stage 2 audit, what we are going to do, we are going to look for the evidence, we will try to collect more and more information. Okay, and then we will submit the report. In that report there will be two things: non-conformity, we call it as NC, or then conformity. Non-conformity means not compliant, conformity means compliant. If they are non-conformative, that means not okay, you will not awarded with a certificate, you need to fix this problem first. Okay, if there is any if there is no non-conformity, everything is okay, then auditor will going to give a recommendation, sorry, recommendation for the certificate, and certification body will give a certificate. But what if the problem has been we can say problem has been detected, what we are going to do it, sorry, there will be a follow up. Okay, if any non-conformity is been identified, this auditor will go for a follow up. Okay, we have some problems identified in your current security posture. We have seen your documents are not updated, we have seen there is no password policy in your organization. So this is coming under to a major non-conformity. How you are going to treat it? How you are going to resolve this problem? So submit us a plan for that. That will be your plan of action. Okay. So we will be requiring that plan of action from the auditee from that organization. As an auditor, I am going to review it. And once the problem has been fixed, again I will be visiting the site. Will be checking whether the problem is been treated or not, and then give the recommendation to the certification body, everything is okay now. Okay, the report will be submitted, given the recommendation, and then the certificate will be awarded. Okay, now after the certification, everything has been done? No. If any certification has been awarded to the organization, that certificate need to be maintained as well. Certificate comes with an validity. The validity is for 3 years. Not every year there will be a stage 2, or you can say the external audit done by the certification body. We call it as an surveillance audit. Is there any difference between surveillance audit and stage 2 audit? No, it's the same. Just the term, the name is different over here. After certificate, we call it as a surveillance audit. And this is again a plan audit. Okay, the plan will be submitted by the certification body, and every year this will happen. First year it will be an first surveillance audit. Second year it will be an second surveillance audit, and third year it will be an recertification audit. Okay, the process is same, the steps are the same. Okay, so like this your certification process will work, or your certification process will go. Okay, so I hope everyone got this idea now. What is the steps for the implementation? We simply follow these core steps. First, build a foundation. Okay, take an approval from the management, define the scope, perform the gap analysis, identify the gap. Based on that, create a plan, do a risk assessment. Okay, now while doing and after the risk assessment, I will be rectifying. I will be having a knowledge that which all controls are missing. Then create a document of all the controls, create a statement of applicability, and as per that, start implementing it. Okay, start implementing those controls. Now once the controls have been implemented, give and training and awareness to all the employees, use the tool for the integration and monitor it, process embeddation. Okay, now once your controls are onto an operational phase, monitor it. Okay, monitor, do an internal audit, go with a management review, and go with a continuous corrective action. Okay, so this is what the strategies you are going to follow for the implementation. Before to an implementation, what we do an gap analysis. This is the steps for your gap analysis. Okay, prepare, review your requirement standard, go with your current security posture, address the current security posture. What are the current, you can say how many controls, how many procedures are being used. Okay, as of now by the organization, identify the gap, which controls or which process or which problems have been missing over here, develop a remediation plan and monitor, look for the progress. This is how you are going to do an gap analysis. Okay, now I had given you an you can say a very good idea about the implementation of an ISMS. Okay, now let me tell you, based on this, what question you may expect during an interview. Okay, or what things you can expect during an interview. Now let's suppose already you know the basic things now about the ISMS implementation. Okay, now what you can say, if I am going for the interview, then what are questions they will be asking. So first they will be asking that do you know about the standard. Okay, can you give a difference between can you give a key difference idea about the standard, how many clauses we do have inside the standard. So you are going to list down all the clauses. Okay, clause number 4 to clause number 10. So they are going to ask you, okay, now you know about the clauses. They describe about the PDCA. What is in PDCA? It's a plan, do, check and act. Under to plan, which clause has been coming. Under to do, which clause has been coming. Under to check, which clause has been coming. Under to act, which clause has been coming. Okay, what all are the mandatory document required for your ISMS implementation? You are going to list down some of the mandatory documents, like for example, scope document, your policy document, your risk assessment result. Okay, your can say your control document. So these are some of the mandatory document which has been required. Okay, they are going to ask, can you explain some of the significant difference, or can say, can you give a description, or you can say the detailed information about the clause number 4, what the clause number 4 has been saying. It has been talking about the context of the organization. Okay, get more and more information about the organization, get an information about the internal risk, external risk, what are the interested party. Okay, what are the expectations from the interested party. It has been talking about the create a scope. Okay, so like this I will be giving a description about the clause number 4. They will be asking, do you have or do you know what are the strategies for the risk, or you can say for the implementation. You can simply remember this 4 point, what strategy you are going to follow for the implementation. Okay, foundation building, core implementation, operational and performance evaluation. Okay, they will be asking how you are going to conduct a gap assessment. Simple 6 steps of a gap assessment. Prepare, review, okay, look for the current state, identify the gap, develop a remediation plan and go with the monitoring. Okay, look for the progress. Okay, how we are going to manage and go with a continuous improvement. Okay, so for that we need to go with an we can say specific, we need to understand the importance of that risk. Okay, if that risk has been coming under to an very high level or to an very low level, it is coming under to an appetite of that organization, and based on that you are going to treat it. So like this we need to showcase, we need to give an assurance about that information.